Plaintiff Ray Lefevre says he's known the defendant for 10 years, and he is the cheapest person Ray has ever known. Ray claims one time the defendant got into a heated argument with someone over $5, and he's suing him today for rental car fees and emotional distress. Defendant Christoph Abbas cannot believe Ray is calling him cheap, considering he allowed Ray to stay with him rent-free for over a month. Christoph denies owing Ray for anything.
All rise. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may now be seated.
Start with you.
Your Honor, I've known the defendant here for over 10 years. We were friends since high school. He is by far the cheapest person I have ever met in my adult life. And just a quick story.
I disagree with that.
Go ahead, you tell me about it.
Just a quick story just to testify to the cheapness of his character. He was in a volleyball league with some mutual friends of mine. And the guy running the league was collecting an extra $5 from every participant to have a party on the last game. And he actually called out the guy running the league and said, "Hey, why are you charging me an extra $5?" and made a huge thing out of it, caused a lot of drama. And
that was principle.
Yeah, well, that's wrong. First off, I drive to this league, so I'm not going to drink and drive back home. So for me, let me make my own decision. If I want to drink, I'll grab myself a drink. If I don't, then, I don't need to be in a pool or whatever. And it wasn't $5, it was more than that.
It was $6.
Yeah.
Okay. $6.78.
I'll let him give some background, and then we'll get to the case. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Well, I agree with him. We were, friends since high school, and he came and visited me last summer in LA. And I thought it was going to be maybe a week or two, and ended up being closer to a month and a half. If I'm so cheap, why didn't I charge him rent? He paid me $0. He bought groceries one time. That's it. So there's no cheap there. That's me being generous. Anyways, he was staying with me rent-free, and living with someone for an extended period of time, day in and day out, you get to kind of get their character more.
Why was it rent-free?
Because you were just staying there, sleeping on the couch, and just loving life, not paying anything.
Is that true? You talking about he's cheap? You don't even afford a place to stay for yourself.
Your Honor, he was working as a travel nurse at the time. They were already paying him a stipend to even have. They were paying him.
What are you talking about? What he has?
Yeah.
We're talking about you.
Right.
So.
Why are you living with him?
He did try to ask me to pay, and I said, "Man, I'm sleeping on this couch. I'm not even occupying any other space other than the couch."
Pay for couch space.
Thank you.
Anyway,
instead of paying $500, pay $300.
Right. Something would help.
I was pitching in. Okay, yeah. It is
we got you on the cheap stuff.
Yeah,
What else you want to tell me about him before we get to the rental car?
Yeah, so being with this guy every day, you get to get some tendencies. If he doesn't have coffee in the morning, watch out. He's gonna blow up. He's gonna be on you all day. So, stay away if he doesn't have his coffee in the morning. He thinks he's always right. There's no point in arguing with him. That's why we have to come here, because, he's just always right, Mr. Know-It-All over there.
You all's friendship ever had troubles other than this?
Yeah, at times, sometimes we'll save $1 and crash in a car to, not pay for the hotel that night or something. We're guys. Let's be rugged a little bit.
Who wouldn't pay?
Well, both of us mutually agree. Let's just crash in the car. It's a late night. No point in going to a hotel for 6 hours.
You crashed in the car too?
I would rather not, but I have to sometimes because of him.
Not true.
What do you mean because of him? That's your own money.
Thank you.
What are you suing him for?
Okay,
you all crashed in this car? Did you sleep in this rental car? I'll let you tell me. Why are you suing him?
We did a road trip for 1 week in different parts of California. I suggested we go to a reputable rental car, such as one of the big names, and he found this rental car company because it had the cheapest price. So we went there. I objected to it, but I said, okay, sure, whatever it's going to take to rent this thing, because let's get this trip going. So anyways, you rent the car for a week, and at the time we did the rental, I had to put my credit card down. All of a sudden, he had stage fright when it came to the wallet, of course. And anyways, I put my card down. I said, okay, if any costs arise out of us doing this road trip, we'll split it 50-50. It was a verbal agreement. Any costs that arise, such as parking ticket or toll violation.
We didn't
we'll
go over
split
those
50-50.
specifics. We didn't go over those specifics.
It was a verbal agreement, gentleman's understanding. I've rented cars with friends before. Anytime the costs arise out of the trip, we always split it 50-50. No big deal. Anyways, we take
How
this
about if it was impounded and forfeited by the police, the prosecutor, because only one person had drugs? Say he had a pound of heroin in the car on him. You had nothing to do with it. He's arrested. He goes to jail. Car impounded. Car forfeited. Now the charges on the car might be in the thousands. You should pay half of that?
I mean, that would be a terrible scenario, but I guess I would be liable if my name's on the rental.
No, on the principle of splitting the cost, not whose name is on there. On the principle of splitting all related costs to the car.
I definitely don't think that I should be liable if he...
Because he was doing wrong, right?
That's correct,
So let's
Your
see
Honor.
who was doing wrong, and that's who's going to be liable today. But because the reasonable assumption is that if everybody is doing right, then yes, you split. But it's unreasonable to think that you would take half responsibility for the wrongdoing of another, even though you've agreed to share responsibility. So what happened?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Let's get to the fault.
So we go on this road trip. There's no issues. One night we parked in a public parking lot. I recall that he chose a spot and he parked the car.
That I disagree.
Okay. Anyways, the car was parked. The car got a parking ticket. And then going down a highway, there was an electronic toll sensor, and we incurred 2 toll violations. Months later, my account was debited in a total amount of $360. One was a $112 charge for the parking ticket. The others was $212 total, plus a service fee charged by the rental company for the 2 toll violations. I have the bank statements here showing that my account was debited, and that's basically the issue. All I wanted was for him just to pay half of the $360, which is a total of $179.
Okay, and who committed those violations?
I was driving at the time when we went through the tolls, but they were electronic. He was sitting next to me.
Right.
And I'm speaking to the principal, but we both enjoyed a road trip together. So therefore, we were both sharing the enjoyment and the use of the car. So it's just only fair that we just split it down the middle.
Even though you're the only one that did something wrong.
You
You just admitted you ran through the tolls.
But if he was driving, the sensor would
He
have
might have done right.
There was no way to... On the highway, there are no side roads. He was completely complacent. I said, hey, look, we're approaching a toll road. He says, yep. No big deal, man. Let's
Yeah,
go.
because you were driving. No big deal to him.
Yeah.
Because that's your problem.
I guess so.
That's
I
your
guess so.
problem, he said.
Exactly. And it is my
What
problem.
about the parking violation? Who committed that?
I contend that he parked the vehicle.
It was him. Okay. So if I can just jump
Go
back
ahead.
a little bit. So he took a driving course in the military. And since then, he had such an ego, thinking he's a NASCAR driver and controlling the car fully. I'm not even driving. He's Mr. NASCAR. He's driving the whole way. Like,
Your Honor, he averages about 5 accidents a year. I thought it was justified drive.
Go ahead.
And he wanted me to drive.
yeah, that's not true. My license is good to go. But anyway, so he barely let me drive the car. Very, very limited. I had to pull teeth to drive the car. So I'm saying if I was driving, I'm going to pay attention to where I park. I'm going to pay attention to, the signs, etc. because I'm driving. I'm responsible. His argument here is where you should split everything half-half. So let's say he totaled the car and smashed it into something. I'm not paying half of his crash, right? I wasn't driving.
Correct.
You can't.
If he was at fault,
Yeah,
you're right.
yeah.
If there was no fault, then perhaps. But in that case, he would be at fault and he should pay for the damages that he caused solely. And sir, what is the emotional distress?
Okay, so basically when I found out about that my account had been debited, I had to spend hours. I spent about a couple hours talking to the rental car company. I actually started a claims case through the bank I was going through because they debited my account months later. I didn't think that was right. So I had to file a claim number with them. I also reached out to the Consumer Complaints Division of the California Attorney General's office just because I didn't think it was right that this car company could debit my account 4 months later. So I did the math, and it's easily 10 hours I spent dealing with this, and I'm still dealing with it.
Now, what does he have to do with it?
None of this is but for, none of this would have happened had he just agreed and answered my message when I said, hey, listen, I just got hit with 360. Can you please pay half?
Nope, none of it would have happened had you not ran through the tolls. And we're not sure who the ticket is with, the parking ticket. You haven't proven it was his. So if you haven't proved it, I can't grant you that judgment. So the emotional distress, of course, I'm not going to grant you emotional distress for you to follow up on a problem you created. Your claim is dismissed. Have a good day, gentlemen.
Thank you.
All I can say is don't take a road trip with this guy.
Well, you know, I don't have nothing really against them, but like I said, get him his coffee and, you know, try to like deviate your time. Can't be with them for multiple days in a row. You got to have a buffer in between.